Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Everyday Inspiring Women. I'm Jessica Brell, and I'm so excited to have my good friend Dot Schimizzi here today. We're going to talk about her journey and the things that she's learned. But first, I'd like to do a quick little intro. So Dot and I met about a year ago and in a mastermind group for women. And we connected right away because we're both mothers, we have some similar stories around being divorced, so single mothers raising our kids with and trying to run a business while working full time. And one little, not a complication, but one interesting thing about our relationship is that I am in Canada on Eastern Standard Time, and Dot lives in Australia. So while we don't get to actually connect and talk until today, so this is extra special and exciting for me, what we do is we just send each other messages periodically throughout our week or throughout the day, and just connecting and supporting each other through that. So I'm going to allow Dot to fill the blanks in and make sure that there wasn't anything that I have missed. She's going to fill in. Dot?
Hi. So good to speak to you one-on-one. It's so great. I think you pretty much summed it up. So yeah, definitely we connected. I think originally as well, we wanted to become accountability partners.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were trying to tee up all these times to talk and it was just all too hard, but we found a way and we've been, like you said, messaging each other for the past year and we've created such a special bond. And I feel very blessed. So
me too.
Thank you.
Awesome. I'd like to think about our relationship as like old school pen pals, because it's like I'll send you a voice recording like 15 minutes long and I'm just like blah blah blah, this is what's going on, this is what I'm dealing with, and it's like I just put it out there and then I wait, because that's another thing. It's like we message when we can, we respond when we can. There's never that pressure, and that's why it feels like very pen pally, modern day pen pals.
I love that.
Yeah, awesome. So I like to ask my guests to tell us a bit about their story. I think that when people tell their stories, that's how people connect with each other when we're sharing pieces of ourselves. So if you could let us, tell us a little bit about your story, where you're at now, and some obstacles that you've faced along the way.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I guess firstly, I just want to say I feel very blessed, and I do try and live with gratitude every single day, because no matter what you've gone through and whatever is happening in the background, we need to practice that gratitude, because otherwise we'll go insane.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my background, so I migrated over from Poland. My dad actually brought us all over from Poland there was the communist system happening there. It was quite intense, and we had a choice to be sponsored to go to America, Oklahoma, or Australia, Canberra. And my parents ended up choosing Australia, and so I've been in Canberra, Australia ever since I was 4. And with my older sister and younger brother, although he was born here, sorry. And yeah, that was kind of tough. It was a tough start. Like, my dad didn't have any English, just had his family to help, obviously. So he just jumped in and tried to find work where possible and just try to make money, basically, to live. My mum, unfortunately, had a really difficult upbringing as well. She suffers from alcoholism, and a lot of other issues that I'm not really sure what sort of they're called or whatever, but just constant sort of heavy issues. So growing up in that environment was very very difficult as a child. And for my sister and I, we were obviously looking up to our mum, and she was not able to be that mum who she wanted to be, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just really hard. Just, yeah. Fast forward. And we got to adulthood, and I guess all my life I always craved that family kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we always had there was a lot of arguments, a lot of things happening. So it wasn't a very happy home. So I really craved that family.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to meet my ex-husband now, but and his background is Italian, so he had this beautiful Italian family that was all warm and loving, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want, without even realizing it, but it just I drew to that. And he's a wonderful man, and we were dating, and then I got told I was diagnosed with endometriosis. I had sort of it's like a female problem thing within the reproductive area.
Yes.
And basically the specialist said that if I didn't try having kids pretty much straight away, that I would never have children again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was dating Anthony at the time, and we kind of went, oh, okay. I think I was 21, 22. We weren't really ready for marriage or anything like that, I don't think, now looking back. And we had to we did the whole engagement, marriage, and trying to have kids straight away all in one, which obviously created a lot of pressure and on our marriage and just on ourselves. And basically after I gave birth to my first son, so he had bilateral talipes, which is also, it's like a condition that his ankles were turned in. So it's, I think in America and Canada they call it clubfoot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that, but it's kind of, the ankles are turned in quite severely. So that was kind of stressful because it was like, oh my gosh, you just, blame yourself and think, have I somehow caused this? Or, but it's not, it's a genetic thing. Thank God he's fine. But that's kind of where my depression creeped in. That's where it all started. I kind of felt like I was all in control, everything was fine. And that's where sort of that darkness started creeping in, and I was really not coping. So, do you want me to keep going?
How did you deal with that? Like, that's a lot to deal with. So it's like all of these things are coming at you, and then you start to feel depressed, and you could just make that decision to be like, okay, this is my life. I'm depressed. Like, I'm going to accept these circumstances, and that's it. So like, how did you deal with that? What did you do, or what pushed you to want to take action in your life?
So like any good mum, we just ignore it and just go, I'm fine. I've got to look after the kids and my husband and all that kind of stuff. And that's pretty much what I did. And it did keep me going until my second little boy, Raphael. And that's when I think I just started crumbling, and the depression kind of became something I couldn't really control. I'm pretty sure I had a bit of postnatal depression with Raf. Then everyone kind of around me was sort of saying, oh, you're fine, just snap out of it, you're just a mum, you're just this. And I don't know, I couldn't. I was trying my best. And that's when I sort of started seeking more. I started sort of saying, look, this isn't normal, I shouldn't be feeling down all the time, so basically, that's when my journey sort of began, when I sort of went, no, I need more. And I started seeking, I was seeing psychologists, and that was great for a period of time. But then you need more after that. So that's where the coaching came in.
So what would you say is what felt different for you between seeing a therapist, which is hugely beneficial, and hiring a coach and working with a coach, which they're both beneficial, but in different ways. So I'm curious what you found the differences to be between the two.
Yeah, definitely. The psychologist, I think, probably delved into the past a little bit more, or a lot more, and tried to make you understand, I guess, why you're doing certain things or particular behavior patterns. And so it was a little bit more on that psychological side. why you do things, why do you behave a certain way, and kind of try to, I guess, make you, just trying to think of the word, like aware of what you're doing and how you're behaving. So, and then the coaching is obviously what are you doing now? What can you do to move forward? Yes, you've got all this pain in the past, and that is part of you, but it's not going to define you. So what are you going to do now? How are you going to act? How are you going to, yeah.
That's exactly how I feel, 100%. Like word for word, that's totally on board, because there's value in the both. But I also feel like the therapist is a good first start, and then a coach going, okay, it's time to take action in your life and move forward, given all of these things. Awesome. Really good.
Yep.
So where are you now? What are you doing? And actually, I have another question. So you were seeing the therapist, and then what was there one moment in time that you can think of? I've had this conversation going, is that like there was like this one piece, like I don't want to say a straw, I don't know the right word myself, but going, this moment in time where it was like frozen, going, I know exactly what I need to be doing to move forward.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been that sure, but I definitely know what you're talking about. So definitely. So I guess it was when I was seeing a therapist, pretty highly medicated, and still debilitated at home and not able to go to work and look after my family, and everything was crumbling around me. I think that's when I was just like, what now? Like, what am I, is this my life? I'm just going to be sleeping all the time and not coping. So I started seeking some more. I just don't stop. And there was actually a coach that was specialized in, I think it's called like adult children of alcoholics. And she is based in New York, and I just started looking up certain videos similar to that, and she had all these videos, and I think that was my turning point, where she actually validated me. She validated all these things inside of me for the first time that no one could do, because I honestly felt like I was going crazy. I didn't know what else I could do, how else I could get better. So that was huge for me, because it was just that receiving that validation. After I received that validation, again, you just keep, it's like you step up that next notch. And that's where the mastermind with Heather came in, because I didn't need the validation so much anymore. I knew that I'm okay and I can move forward. I just didn't know how. And so it was really good, because Heather really resonated with me, her podcast. And that's when I went, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. Awesome. So good. That's really good. And I love that it's like you knew you needed help. So it's like asking for help and then being really specific, going, I think this is the right step. This is the next right step, going to, like, finding that coach that's targeted exactly what you were kind of dealing with at the time, right? All that stuff from your past. So I've learned so much. That's really good. So where are you now, Dot? What are you working on?
The first time you've heard.
It kind of is, like, I knew some of that story from our time together, but I think not that whole string of the story. And I didn't realize that you had emigrated to Australia. I just assumed that you've always lived there, right? So it's a really interesting piece of your story as well. Do you speak Polish?
Yes.
Nice. Great. Awesome. So where are you now? Like, what are you doing today?
Yes. Okay. So I work in the government, which I've got a really great job in the international division. So it's very interesting and I really enjoy it. But my passion is to help people. And another part of my story that was massive, it was such a turning point. And again, it was after Heather's mastermind. I was seeking more again, because I had a job that was paying me, they were paying me a little bit extra to do this executive level type work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited, thinking, this is great. This is what I need as a single mum. I can be there for my kids, and I can, pay for things now, not keep saying no.
Right.
And unfortunately, what came with that extra pay was extra responsibility and less time. So I kind of went, when I did want to go see my boys' little concert or something at school, I was pretty much told, like, you can't leave because
Right.
you have to look after the team. You can't do that as an executive. So that was pretty hard. And I basically decided then I needed something that actually I didn't even know at that time what it was, but I just wanted something more. And I basically crazily added something extra to my plate, but I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
Sort of started my own little health and wellbeing business, and it's all like whole food nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
and got into it originally because I thought, it might just be a little bit of extra money. Didn't really know too much about the product.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I took the product, and after 3-4 days, my whole life had honestly transformed.
Yeah.
So whether I was deficient in something or whether it was just bridging that gap, it gave me the energy I had never had in my life. And this is, a year later, I'm still doing the business. I still have energy. I still feel amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm able to help people. So I'm so happy.
That's good for you. That's awesome. So what you're saying is you were already busy and then you added something extra to your plate?
I'm crazy too. I think like Heather said in our mastermind, the thing is, you have to be smart about what you bring into your life. And yes, sometimes it's risk, but then you have the reward. And so sometimes you need to add something. Even the coaching at the time, I didn't have time for coaching.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money for coaching, but I made the time. And that's so difficult, but breaking through that is just the best thing that has ever happened. So
yeah. And I love that too. I was hearing a lot of like lots of places you're like, I don't know exactly what I want, but I know this isn't it. And then going, okay, trying to figure out what was right for you. Eat like all of the steps every time you were saying, going, gosh, not this. I don't know what, and trying to go ahead and figure that out. And just as a side note, I think that's a really important thing to be aware of, like to notice in ourselves. And because a lot of my clients and a lot of women I talk to are like, I don't know what I want, and I don't know what I want to be doing, and I don't have that intuition. I don't know. And sometimes the first step is just knowing it's not this.
yeah.
I think Elizabeth Gilbert says that in one of her
Yes.
like, she does podcasts or what, but it's something she had put out there, and I remember it resonated with me, going, not this. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. She's so good.
Yeah. No, she's so good. Yep. 100%. That's exactly how I felt.
Awesome. So how do you fit self-care into all of everything that you do? Because I know how, we've had these conversations about how incredibly important it is to fill your own cup up, and how we personally feel when that's not happening. So just how do you make that happen?
That's probably my biggest struggle out of everything. I love looking after people. I'm a real nurturer, and I'll just make sure everyone's okay around me. And then I feel like I'm happy, I'm great. And then I collapse. So, and I do that every single time. So that's definitely something that I need to keep an eye on, because that's where things can just crumble. But I think it's getting people like yourself, when we have a chat and you're reminding me, Dot, have you done some self-care? Surrounding yourself with beautiful people that are just so authentic and actually give a shit about you, like that's so many people that don't, they're like, oh, okay, but they don't really care. And so I'm so blessed, and it's about reaching out and just saying, and I do, like, I've started my little Facebook group page so people can kind of, say how they feel and just see that there's also behind the scenes of someone's life, that it's not all perfect. because everyone seems to think that. And I'm like, really?
What?
Oh my
No.
goodness. No.
Right.
Oh my God. If only you knew, if I had some TV show, everyone would be like, oh, Jesus. Yep.
No, please, no TV show.
No, don't worry.
But I think that's what I appreciate. Like, and that's vulnerable too, to show up and be like, yeah, I'm, busy woman, busy mother with my business and a health and wellness coach. And you know what? I struggle with self-care. So it helps you relate to people. It helps people relate to you that much more when you're going, you know what? I get it, because I have a hard time doing it too. But here's some things I do, like you had mentioned. These are the things I do to help me with my own self-care, surrounding myself, holding myself accountable, asking for help. Those aren't easy. Like, that's not easy. It's not easy to do that. It's hard asking for help sometimes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I think another thing is, I don't want to call myself a health and wellness coach just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more of a health wellness change advocate because I've come from such a non-healthy place, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day I'm learning about something. So, maybe one day I will be a coach, but right now I feel like I can proudly say I'm more of a change advocate.
Yeah. Well, that's good. And you have to use the language that feels good for you.
Yeah.
Even though my language would call you a coach, because that's what an advocate's doing, right? It's coaching people through process. It's being a living example, going, this is what I do. And I'm also not perfect, because coaches aren't perfect either, right? But they're going, I've blazed the trail, or I've done this, and let me help you or show you how to do it for yourself too.
That's true.
Change advocate. Okay, we'll go with that. That's awesome. Do you feel guilty when you do stuff for yourself, or when you are working on your business and not spending time with your kids? Or I know it's Saturday, so it's Friday night here in Canada. I know it's Saturday morning for you. So you're taking like half an hour to chat with me, telling your kids to keep out of your room, or do something while you're doing this. So how do you deal with, I'm going to assume maybe not, that if you feel guilty, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so the really good thing about being an entrepreneur and having a side business is you are your own boss, and you can either make it that it's going to impact your family, or you can have, control and say, no, it's not going to impact my family.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is, with anything that I do, I involve my kids in it, and I explain to them what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And the thing is, as soon as I say why I'm doing it, and that's, I'm trying to save some money, so I'm going to take you boys to Disneyland,
Yes.
all of a sudden it becomes like, oh my gosh. So, I think it is making your kids aware of what you're doing, instead of going, shh, go away and just don't worry about it, you don't understand, pushing that away. It's about involving them and sort of, and then that way. So really, to be honest, I don't feel guilty, because, and if anything, they were like, Mom, good luck with your call. And, it's really cute. So I'm showing them how to be, I guess, a human being, but also hopefully what a woman can be and do. So that's just at this moment, though. There are times that of course I feel guilty, because when I haven't done self-care for myself and I feel myself sort of imploding,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to listen to a podcast, or I just want to do something for myself, and I literally am just like, just don't talk to me. I don't want to hear what they need, because at that moment I need something, and then that's where the guilt comes in. But that's, again, because I haven't been technically looking after myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a balance. I know a lot of people don't like that word balance, but I think there's a lot of truth to it. I think people don't like it because it's bloody difficult to balance things. So
yeah, that's really good. Really, I think, educating your kids, yes, because then you're transparent with them, and then they can see what's going on. And there's nothing worse than like hearing, well, because I said so. Well, what does that mean? What does that even mean?
That's That's right.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so great. So I'm big into like, I find like themes come up for me personally where like I'm like lots of, yeah, I can't think of another word, themes. It's like in a week, it's like always a similar theme is coming up for me to work on. And, then I'll work through it and then another theme comes up. And, typically I'll have reoccurring themes and I'll just learn something different from the messages that are coming at me. But I was curious if you observe that in your own life, and if so, what themes are coming up for you right now that you're working on?
Gosh. Probably it's a mixture of self-care, which is
Mm-hmm.
just another word that I know it's not the best word, but that looking after yourself in order
Yeah.
to serve others. That's how I see it. Before I used to think it was selfish or whatever. But now I understand I can't, it's survival. If
Yeah.
I don't look after myself to a degree, I can't be anything to anybody. I can't serve anyone. I can't even serve myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's been a really strong theme for me. And I am going to conquer it. I'm going to do it, damn it. So, yeah, I can't really think of, right now it's that because I want to serve others.
Yeah.
And it goes hand in hand because I don't feel like I'm the best version of me when I'm not doing it.
Yes.
So,
Agree. I can agree with more than that. But I think that is a theme, right? Because it's like you keep bumping up against it and bumping up against it. And every time you're just continuing like, okay, this is what I'm learning each time you go against it, right? And still haven't, so for me, it's like every time it comes on, clearly I still haven't worked my way through this one yet. So it just keeps appearing for me from
yes.
lessons to be learned, right? So I thought that's a really good one. Awesome. So what if people wanted to connect with you, like going, oh, you know what, that was amazing, your story, and appreciate you sharing it with us. But if people want to connect with you, how would they do that? How would they get in touch with you?
At this stage, I definitely just my Facebook page is
Mm.
fine. It's Dot Schimizzi, SCHIMIZZI, and yeah, basically you can just go on there, private message me, and I can either add you to my little private group
Nice.
if that's something you're interested in, and just get on board with someone trying to get healthy and wealthy, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know where that came from, but yes, I do. That would be awesome. Can you imagine?
Oh, yes, I can. Well, and I'll tag you in the post on Facebook, and then I'll put the information to your Facebook page on the YouTube as well. So it'll be in both spots if people are interested in getting in touch with you. I've also been thinking,
Great.
do you have like your number one, I know you do some personal development reading. What would you say is it's hard to narrow it down to one, but you had to narrow your book selection down to one book. What would you say is your most favorite personal development book?
Oh gosh.
Threw this one at you at the last.
Yeah. I am not one of those people that can say one thing is my favorite because I think there's so many parts of me that have favorites of so many things. So, but the book that I'm currently reading, I'll tell you, and I have it right in front of me, is The Magic by Rhonda Byrne. And it is basically, it was given to me as a gift. It's sort of based on the law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So what you
wrote
put
The
out
Secret,
there.
right?
Yes,
Sorry.
actually.
Yeah. Okay.
There.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when all that sort of came out, I was all like, oh no, I don't believe in that. That's all rubbish. And I was really, really against it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how it's crept back into my life. And then I was gifted this book and I'm like, oh, and yeah, so it's definitely changing my life because I'm changing the way I put myself out there. I can be very positive, but when it comes to myself, I can be very negative and self-critical. So whatever messages I was sending out, I didn't understand why all that negativity was coming back, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's kind of a massive concept for me, but I'm loving it. It's something new and pushing me again. But yeah, I'd probably say that book. It's really, really interesting.
Oh, good. It's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I appreciate it. I'm so very thankful for our friendship and the ability to message each other at randomly anytime, and and know that we'll eventually hear back from each other. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we'll chat soon.
Definitely.
Okay.
Very much.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.